before we see What's the Time, Virginia Woolf, I'd just like to ask Jenny Cole to step forward and present the winner's cheque to Doc Watson, who wrote the play we're about to see.
The first prize going to Doc Watson, who has written the play we're about to see, What's the Time, Virginia Woolf. Doc,
George, is that you?
Martha, it is I. Who did you think it was, Martha? Your lover?
Far delayed in the day for that. There's a freshly chilled martini in the shaker, and dinner will be approximately 20 minutes.
Just as I like it.
Don't. Not there. Anywhere but there. Please, darling, you know.
Sorry, I wasn't thinking.
Hot day?
Oh, you know these students. Matrimonial law.
Not one of your favourite subjects.
A seminar on divorce. Do you think that they could follow it?
Tedious in the extreme?
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
And your day, Martha, was it as expected?
It was. Tedious in the extreme.
Oh dear.
Except Alice came round.
Alice? Well, how was she?
Flustered as usual, she burst in upon me.
Oh my God! I didn't know where to put myself. It was shocking. I was appalled when I found out.
No, burst is far too strong a word. No, she sidled in as Alice does.
Oh yes, I know that sidle.
Oh, Martha, I just had to see you. I could not hold back any longer.
Oh, Alice, dear, what is it? You seem out of sorts.
I am completely out of sorts.
Sit yourself down, gather your thoughts. Can I get you anything?
Well,
Tea. I always have tea at this time in the afternoon.
It was the afternoon then?
Something after 3, if my memory serves me.
Well, just so that I have the full picture.
Tea would be nice.
If you'll excuse me, dear.
Oh, no, don't leave me.
Well, if you want tea.
No, then, no tea.
Well, something stronger.
But it is only 2 in the afternoon.
I thought you said 3.
She got the time wrong. She was confused, on edge. She was...
Out of sorts, you said.
Precisely.
Martha, you are a wronged woman.
Is that what she said? A wronged woman? Where does that woman get her dialogue from?
That George.
She called me that. She mentioned my name in that tone.
That George, that husband of yours, he is a cheap, conniving Lothario.
Really? Lothario? She called me that.
He is two-timing you, Martha. Everyone knows. The whole campus knows.
I don't think everyone knows. I certainly don't.
As soon as I had the proof, I had to come to face you with it.
Oh, proof as well, eh? Well, this is certainly some story, Martha. Would you like another?
And you, Alice, can I get you anything? A stiff one by the look of it.
Oh, Martha, you poor dear.
Now, Alice. You don't have to patronise me, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm all of a differ. It is so shocking. You two seemed so permanent.
Nothing is permanent. I learned that at a Buddhist seminar.
You are taking it so bravely.
I have no other choice, Alice. as I can hardly believe a word of what you are saying.
You said that?
Right to her face.
You sucked it to her.
I wasn't about to be bamboozled into believing campus chatter. Now was I?
I trust you asked Alice to see this proof of the so-called infidelity of which... no, with which I am being charged.
Of course. So, Alice, what have you heard about dear George?
Dear George? You still called me Dear George in the midst of this whole revelatory announcement?
Why, of course, my dear. And you always will be dear to me.
Infidelity not being proven, I assume.
Well, of course. Always better to keep an open mind in these matters. So, Alice, you can go around making these wild accusations.
Martha, I know that George has been unfaithful to you because he has been unfaithful with me.
With you?
With her? Oh, no, really. With her? My God, how did you take that?
On the chin, George. So, Alice, how long has this so-called affair been going on?
Ages, months. It started that time you were on that expedition to Outer Mongolia.
Outer Mongolia?
Alaska. She meant Alaska. Just felt like Outer Mongolia. Alice was never very good on the facts.
I finally had to give in to his constant attention.
Oh, I see. I was leading this extramarital roundelay.
Apparently.
He was so persistent. Well, you know what he can be like when he's aroused.
Not recently.
Not recently? You said not recently?
Well, my poor dear, I was just being truthful.
But to admit that to Alice, of all people.
I thought of her as my best acquaintance.
But now, I could not hold back anymore. You have always been such a dear, kind soul, so innocent, so unaffected.
Now, really, Martha, you're putting words into her mouth. Cut to the chase, for God's sake.
I do not believe you, Alice. I do not know what has brought about this preposterous farrago of life.
But it's true. Every damned last word of it.
You and George. George and you. Thought of it is quite upsetting.
Upsetting?
Makes my flesh creep.
Flesh creeper. I think that's going a little bit far, don't you?
Alice, what kind of wild, erotic fantasy land are you living in?
A sordid, nasty, degrading one into which I have plunged, kicking and screaming, dragged there by your lascivious husband.
She said that. Alice actually vocalized those words.
Well, perhaps not verbatim. She was quite worked up at the time.
What was your response to this full frontal attack of such intense passion?
You're a sicko, Alice. But you're
Sicko?
weak.
Is that the best you could come up with in the circumstances?
It was my best shot on the spur of the moment. With your weak and pathetic attempt to break up our rock-solid marriage of nearly 20 years. It's all in your head, Alice. If George had wanted to wander from the straight and narrow, he would have picked a far younger, far prettier, and far less challenging a bimbo than you, Alice, dear.
Oh, nice touch. Condescension of Alice, dear. Just the right kind of put down for such a neurotic mess as Alice.
Another drink, George, although I can see you've hardly touched the last one.
Oh, well, I have been gripped by your salacious expose.
Another martini?
Oh, please. For I have a story to tell. For I too had a visitor this afternoon.
You did.
And like you, it was Alice.
Came to see you.
Well, before she came to see you, which may explain things.
Tell me more.
Well, she gushed into my office.
Oh, George, I just had to see you.
Does one gush into an office?
Please, this is my story. I allowed you, Isis, to tell your tale in your own inimitable way. Mix the drinks.
Yes, oh, master.
The most terrible thing has happened.
Really, Alice, this is most unusual.
Frank does not love me anymore.
What, Frank has left you?
No, I didn't say that.
She's right, she didn't.
Look here, whose story is this?
Just mixing the martini.
Thank you.
No, he wouldn't leave me. He wouldn't have the balls. But no, it's all come out over lunch.
But you were lunching together?
He called a luncheon meeting with me.
You were not in the staff diner. The roast today was very good. Oh, by the way, Martha, that detail was for you, not for Alice. I was not, of course, so insensitive as to mention the roast to Alice.
He came back home. He called in on his way between meetings. He told me in no uncertain terms that he thought our whole marriage was a sham.
Well, whose is it?
Oh, really, George? You said that? Or was that wisecrack aimed at me?
Not to you. Ours is fine.
I begin to wonder.
Is your marriage a sham then, George?
What? Well, you see, she caught me out. I've been trying to lighten things with my flippancy.
Ah, your well-known flippancy.
Should that give me hope?
Really, Alice, what is all this nonsense? Frank loves you. You're both rocks on this campus.
No, he's finally come out of the closet.
Frank's gay? Frank has admitted to having homosexual leanings after all this time.
After all this time, you mean you knew?
I had been attempting to get a handle on the situation, to keep a lid on her emotions.
Not doing a very good job of it, if you ask me.
There's always been a problem in the bedroom area.
Bedroom area?
She may have been more explicit.
I always put it down to, well, things. Emotional stress. Things like that. But now, he's out in the open and telling me that he's been seeing someone for years.
My God. This is Frank. Frank, your boss.
My head of department. The term boss, it has such a blue-collar feel to it.
Your boss?
All right, if you like.
There was more to this, wasn't there?
Oh, much more. For that revelation opened up the floodgates.
But you see what this means, don't you, George?
I can see that it might have implications.
For you and me, yes?
You and me? There is no you and me, Alice.
Oh, but now there can be. What a fool I've been. Keeping myself faithful through the years. The kids, Nick and Holly, they're growing up, they're schooling. All those Independence Day celebrations. Christmas, the presents, the holly and the damned Ivy League. And all for nothing. For a homosexual. A closet queen. But now, George, my passions are on fire. That little talk, that confession, it has opened me up to the world. Do you know the desire I have been holding back for you? George, my love God!
Love God! Come on, George. Your interpretation of events is becoming decidedly afternoon soap.
To cut a long tirade short, Alice, before you say any more, before you embarrass yourself further,